Our private client services team is recognized for providing clear and practical legal advice to our clients in the United Kingdom and Ghana. Expert help with will writing, probate or estate administration. Our will writers and probate lawyers can act for you to obtain grant of probate and carry out estate administration on your behalf. The probate takes place after someone dies. If there's a will, the named executor is responsible for ensuring that the estate of the deceased is secured, assessing its value and paying any inheritance tax. If there is no will, the interstate and inheritance rules require similar responsibilities. Our lawyers offer strategic and practical solutions to the issues which clients face, whether it's in relation to succession planning, will preparation, probate and the administration of estates, immigration and visas, contentious family or probate disputes, administering estates often with inheritance cross-border issues, international trust advice including residence, domicile issues, wealth preservation, a fast, efficient service from SRA-regulated professionals, transparent pricing. BWF Solicitors, let us take care of probate.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specializing in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specializing in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner. With over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.
A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on your location. You are welcome once again to our daily, every Friday education on Legal Hour. This is BWF Solicitors Legal Hour. You are all welcome. It's here for ni ashafo me ma obi bia akwaba eba yedwumedie. So me gidi se baby biara wo ho ye na se wo ho ye de ebe de twede ampo adaroma. Ebeda na se so amaya konyen na ene so ode adom ɛne nkwa akyɛ yɛn na yɛmfa dwumadie yi mbra wɔ kwan. Megye di sɛ baabi biara a wɔwɔ no, wobɛka me ho fitii this time a ɛnkɔdu sɛ ɛbɛbɔ 11 no na yɛde dwumadie no aba awieeɛ. Megye di sɛ wobɛka me ho na woka me ho deɛ a, mma wo nko ara wonka me ho. Mesrɛ wo anidie mu bɔ mmɔden ara na share program no, call a friend to call a friend, call a sister to call a friend, share all the platforms no so na frɛfrɛ adɔfoɔ sɛ ɔmo mbɛhwɛ na ɛnɛ yɛba abɛdi nkɔmmɔ dɛdɛɛdɛ ɛwɔ legal hours so. Mede ane Manyɛti ahyia me baabi a afrɛ Manyɛti mɛgye wo so. Ɛnɛ me ne me nuabaa me sister Penny, lawyer Penny a yɛnim yɛn resource person lawyer Eunice, ɛnɛ ɔno na wakɔtwe no de aba na ɔmfa saa dwumadie yi ɔmbɛka yɛn ho na ɔmbɛkyerɛkyerɛ yɛn nneɛma mu na yɛnkɔ yɛnim. Sɛ topic ɛnɛ nso a yɛafa no, megye di sɛ definitely yɛnkɔ awieeɛ no na woanya wo answers a wohwehwɛ wɔ hɔnom. Ɛnkɔ baabi a ka yɛn ho na yɛmfa dwumadie dodoɔ no a maba so nyinaa mede nhyia kɛseɛ de ma mo. Mɛbobɔ din no nwoma menkɔ anim kakra na mabobɔ din no na ɛnɛ ɛm sɛ yɛmmerɛ ɛkɔ kakra. Nti no nea mɛyɛ ne sɛ menkyɛ mema mekasa ɛnyɛ tenten. Nea ɛdi kan no mɛtwe lawyer Eunice aba na ɔmfa nkyea mu ɔhwam nea mu ɔdɛ nea ɛtɔ akoma so ɔmfa mma etiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ. Then mɛsan bisa ne nsɛmfoɔ kakra. Mo a monim sɛ every day before we go throughout the week na yɛbɛba back no na either say home office anaasɛ parliament foɔ no ɔmo akɛnyɛ ɔmo ho. Yɛate huhuhu bi wɔ mframa mu. Ɛyɛ a na yɛne yɛn a yɛnim mmara no mu no yɛnte aseɛ nanso sɛ yɛnya lawyers sisi a na ɔmo aba abɛka meka ɛpa kyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ update a aba over the week no na ɔmo aba abɛkyerɛkyerɛ mu sɛ sei na ɛkɔ. Ebi mu koraa ɛkeka na sɛnea ɛbɛyɛ a akekakeka yɛse no na yɛtumi ayɛ dɛn ɛyi yɛadwene ɛfiri so na mmom na yɛnya nkyerɛmu pa from the lawyers no. Enti lawyer Eunice mema wo a special good morning anɔpɛ yi na megye di sɛ wo ho yɛ. Mema wo akwanya na fa nkyia ɛma etiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ dodoɔ na ɛhwɛ wɔ Facebook, YouTube ne WhatsApp live so sisi yɛsɛ WhatsApp live aba menim da ɛna afei nso ɛhwɛ yɛ wɔ TikTok dodoɔ na ɛhwɛ yɛ ɛwɔ hɔ. Enti no mema wo akwanya no na wode nkyia ama ɔmo na afei deɛ yɛde dwumadie no akɔ anim. Patro Adaroma.
Yeah, that's very much. A very good morning to you, and you're looking lovely as always.
Thank you.
I think
you.
say
Thank you.
the crown photo. My bank cashier said, "Mommy, it's going to be December soon. We are already in October." And I said, "Huh." Yeah,
Yes.
and Cheba.
Yes. Yes, and it's so funny today. We are all wearing the pink or a bit of reddish, all because of the breast cancer awareness are we trying to create over the whole place. Say, Dudona a name say breast cancer. When it comes to the month of October, now we create this awareness for people to have that knowledge across board. I'm glad to say wash pinky means so much me pinky. I mean, on the screen you might looks like we are wearing a bit of reddish, but it's all pinky, and it's just we are wearing it in aid of the breast cancer awareness. I am a de say one so I should be mpacho koso se me do koso.
That's you. Mama nkyia etiefoɔ ne ahwɛfoɔ yɛdam nyame ase sɛ ɛnɛ de mabɛka yɛn nsa na yɛtumi edi adwumadie. I hope sɛ nyame adom obia ho yɛ sɛ wo ho nyɛ krampo a yɛbɔ mpaeɛ sɛ nyame adom wo ho bɛtɔ. And so as we do every week, Yama a bit of updates and then we see how things are going in terms of your immigration law. Say share dodoɔ no a ɔmo sponsor license na yɛbɛka sɛ most of the care companies no ɛna dodoɔ no a ɛwɔ sponsor license to bring in care workers. But yɛnim sɛ as of July no ɛna government no ka sɛ ɔmo bɛtwam sɛnea new entry from outside of UK will not be able to apply any longer for star COS and I say Juma ewo UK Chrome ha. And of course, nkorɔfoɔ woman did that no. We do know say some still have issues in terms of sponsor license being revoked, and some of them may have cancellations because of the fact say either say sponsor no a report to say ɔmo amba adwuma nti yɛ cancel ɔmo license anaasɛ uh, company nankasa eluso ɔmo sponsor license. And the government have said they are going to be tough on care companies and answer employers are ɔmo agye ɔmo sponsor license a ɔmo ɛpɛ nkorɔfo ayɛ adwuma and there's no work for them to do. Nti you would see say statistically a lot of these companies are under fire. So who apply for sponsor license cramp now, they will tell you at some point in time, say they can come and visit your premises physically. And I said during the time that your sponsor license has been granted, you would be inspected or they'll come and visit the premise physically. And see, even to get a sponsor license, the details, the amount of details that you have to give to the home office, because home office no, I who say we a trusted company or yeah part of umejuma no ama omo nti say what say what day nkrofo ebi a 10 ɛɛba na wowɔ adwuma ɛma ɔmo na ɛkɔba ne sɛ wonni adwuma ɛmma ɔmo de a ɛna ɛtumi sɛ woatwa ntorɔ ɛna woaha nkorɔfo no a wode ɔmo nso aba. Nti it's a very very critical situation in terms of um those who have brought in people and those who still do not have work for employees na omo de omo aba. So the government is trying to clamp down on all those companies and as employers na omo ajejejeje sponsor license na omo any ejuma ema nkrofo. Nti mepamocho bebre sɛ monim sɛ monni adwuma no ɛmma nkurɔfo mɛngyegye nkurɔfoɔ sika ɛndi na later on saa nkurɔfoɔ no nso ɛnkɔ report mu ɛmma efikasɛmfoɔ no sɛ ni sei no ɛna esi. We don't want for the home office to escalate matters any more than they have already been escalated. And Eunice said it's a countless number of people who are in this situation because they just sponsor license ne free employer no wha. Not only is the sponsor license holder, which is the company affected, nkurɔfoɔ no nso a wɔn baeɛ no nso are also affected, and they also will have their license curtailed at some point. Say, nyame yɛ wɔn adom na wɔtumi nya another sponsor from either where they are based now or any other area in the UK. Na at least wɔn nim sɛ wɔn betumi atoa so ayɛ wɔn adwuma. But sɛ nyame anyɛ wɔn adom a, then it puts them in a very very critical position because wɔn nso wɔn pɛ sɛ wɔn nya asetena. Sɛnea wɔde baeɛ no wɔn nim sɛ obiara ɛrehwɛ wɔn sɛ at least wɔde biribi bɛbɛ fie na wɔatumi ahwɛ abusuafoɔ. Nti as much as possible no yɛnhwɛ na at least sɛ adwuma no nni hɔ a patwɔ mɛngye obiara sika mɛmma obiara get to say a victim of these fraudulent things that are going on because when it comes to mbra no deɛ government no deɛ ɔmo de bɛwerɛw ɔmo bɛ make sure sɛ ayɛ ade a wagyegye nkurɔfoɔ sika anaasɛ waka sɛ wowɔ adwuma a wonni adwuma ɛma nkurɔfoɔ no then they will make sure say omo will license free nsɛm. And if you are to apply for another license, they will have to look at it very critically. And in most cases, there is an applicable suspension period. Omo to me Emma sponsor license no. So it is very very critical to make sure say this is not a thing which we will move forward with because now I can see say a lot of employees and as care workers are really desperate, very, 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 very desperate because of the fact say they are not able to have family members switch to those positions anymore. Whereas that used to be available for dependents, no, so it's no longer available for them to make that switch. So it makes them very, very desperate. And so nyɛpamɔtwe bebree sɛ woyɛ employer anaasɛ woyɛ care company na monim paa sɛ monni adwuma ɛmma nkurɔfoɔ a pakyɛw bebree ma mo ɛngyegye ɔmo sika because dodoɔ no ara ba a ɔmo sɛ obesi yɛwɔ adwuma but wagye yɛn sika wɔantumi amma yɛ adwuma bia. It is very, very important say we stay integral and then we give our people the assurance say this will not go on as it is now. That is that in terms of Nkrofo Mokita's sponsor license. And I think that last week we were just briefly talking about the fact that your current Labour government also is looking to extend our settlement period for Nkrofo APR more skilled worker routes and so. But also in terms of just in general, say almost the 10 years no ever for settlement now no longer would they be looking at you just obtaining settlements automatically. But now, obviously, there are different requirements for different settlement routes. It's not as we would say, it's not like they would just give it to you on a silver platter. There's always some form of requirement before you can even gain settlement now. And to add to the requirements that are already in place, they are now looking to see say nkurɔfoɔ ɛyɛ adwuma na ɔmo contribute to the
Right.
economy anaasɛ yɛ NI no. And they want to also make sure say nkurɔfoɔ na almost ɔmo settlement ɛwɔ kurom ha no nso they themselves have been able to complete an English language test where they are able to speak the English language like we do now, where they test your English language. And they also want to make sure, say, at least, wow, what's it, kurom ha wopɛ settlement no, ongye ɔmo sika, ɔmo aban sika, public funds no, you are not taking that as well. And as much as possible, no, almost per se, or say, oh, clean criminal record. And yet, to say, why with the bonnet be, and I say, to say, traffic offenses, it be our continuous records of ABR speeding, and I say, they want to know that you have a clean bill of record. And then, as much as possible, no, they want to see that you are giving back to the community in some way, shape, or form. That is their proposal. And yet,
Yeah.
it is their proposal. And they have said they are consulting on it to see how they can enforce it in terms of bringing it into the law. And I say, Embra. So let's watch the space. I know, say they have a lot of consulting to do before they can make it law, but at least they have told you what their proposal is. And see, I think say Nkrofa or more routes to settlements, no, they should pay attention to these pointers. Senya, more time no so na omo kaka say, oh, na minim say na person deba. But they have made known what their proposals are, and so we must also heed to their omodeba. And so that is just a few points in terms of your updates this week.
Thank you. Before I open nanka person bisa question to be based on the two areas I already you know. Let me go to the last one first. Giving back to the community for say Bema settlement, you know. Any be yeah, can say English language, you know. I said they are even trying to raise the English language from B1 to B2. And I think so no giving back to the community, no, at least there must be some form of why voluntarily work be ama community no. And na obi kre bisa say ne maame a oko e kan say school oko cancel ho ekwaji saa omo yellow jacket no kogyina lorry kwan ho boaboa nkwala etwa lorry kwan mu na obisa say no nso community. Oh yes, it's a form of giving back to the community because edwuma no yenhye da entua wa ketua te say yetua o normal akutia. And when you look at it now, it's just like you spend 30 minutes in the morning and then 30 minutes in the afternoon, and I say 1 hour and in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon. And for the fact say even throughout the winter time, you have to stand at that place, cross board, not just say, oh, general requirement, oh, general hat, no, which you ha, no, what you bahasa, 1 hour, and so now, you know, it's a very good form of giving back to the
Yeah.
community. Say, the mammy was a category now, bet to me at the account. So, for those of us listening to us now, it might look like I'm asking, but I'm also just contributing to the say and also be part of the giving back to the community. But B1 no and I nim say no cress or de call B2 and the tis a more lawyer mo catch say son or my or margin. And then my second part, they say with the sponsor license, no, there is this company, you revoke, you suspend it. Let me put it there, suspend it, yeah, to the point saying you revoke it. But we're fighting. As a matter of fact, no, in any situation, no never be break down, but urging for more than a jumana or one, and a cancer and so sharp. Or adwuma no bebree because we employ like over roughly over 60 people ɔmo yɛ adwuma a ɔwɔ clients ɔwɔ solid clients ɔmo contractor ɔmo yɛ ɛna ɔgye bɛm sɛ ɔgye bɛyɛ 100 gu mu a 100 no na ɔnni adwuma ɛmfa ama ɔmo nti no through the trials ne ade na ɔkɔ back and forth no to me yiyi nkurɔfoɔ na ɔne ɔmo ba yiyi bebree ediiɛ sɛ ɔmo baeɛ no ɔmo na ɔmo report sɛ ɛyɛ nokorɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ nokorɛ ɔno deɛ na ɔpɛ ne ho agye nti no ɔde nsɛm bebree gu mu nti ɛnkɔ wie kyerɛ no yɛasan de ne sponsor yɛde ne license na ama ne sɛ yes obetumi I'll continue to operate however no ɔntumi employ obiara biom from outside or whatever. In Sisia no, omo gumun. My question here is omo gumun. Say on contract ni wie say 5 years or say 3 years no they are no wie na mami Sisia or just or license to operate but not license to recruit. Nti ɛyɛ saa na ɔmo gu mu no sɛ ɔmo bɛ renew ɔmo sponsorship na how are they maame obetumi ama ɔmo saa renewal sponsorship no anaa yɛaka sɛ ɔntumi recruit but obetumi operate no how does that work? I don't know if you understand my question. Ɛwɔ hɔ.
Yeah, I think you're trying to find out if Nkrofona or with the Kaya employer no, whether they'll still be able to extend their leave. And I
Yes.
said whether
Yes.
she will be able to issue them with new COS. Said Sana
Yes.
will be sir.
No
Okay.
correct. No correct. No correct.
Okay. So when it comes to sponsor license holders, home office should I say grading and I say categories are
Okay.
omode omoshe. And usually if you are categorized or rated I think it's a level A, then that means that of course you can also bring in workers, you can also administer COS, you can make sure that everything that you have said you will do in terms of managing workers, international workers, no, you do it accordingly, and all of the compliances are also followed as it
Okay.
should. And see, those who are given that rating will always be able to do the A to Z to say yeah, you know. When you're giving a B rating, that means that of course you have been limited in a way. And
Okay.
see, it means that when it comes to, for instance, recruiting, they will
Uh-huh.
not be able to recruit because their rating has been reduced. And see, for instance, they can operate as a sponsor license holder. They can continue to regulate the workers that they already have. They can manage them. Obviously, when it comes to extending their leave, they will need to request from the Home Office
Oh.
COS whether those employees who are currently working with them also meet the current guidelines. And
Guidelines.
see, yes, in terms of issuing COS, they will always have to request as normal from the Home Office, this
Yeah.
normal way that they would do on their SMS system. Now, on way
Mm,
to me, a issue saa workers no more a no with
mm,
the relevant COS now
yes.
in terms of
So
extent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's all down to home office because said the people that she initially recruited, they are still working for the company, and until I mean they've worked till they are going to get their 5 years with the
Mm,
same
mm,
company. They've not gone
mm,
any other company. So
mm,
the employees definitely they will meet one way or the other the requirement because they are still with the employer. They haven't left the
mm.
employer, that kind of that area. But say obetumi amomo COS be to renew or extend their visa, that is where the issue is. So if or no call requested from the home office, for instance, now home office say no because we've downgraded
A
you.
company no na ebe requested from the home office because the
Yes.
company has an SMS system that they use
Okay.
in regards to liaising with the home office.
Okay.
Into in most cases, even to see as a company no per se or recruit you they need to request it from
From the
the
home.
home.
Mm,
Yes. And see, on their SMS system,
mhm,
they
mhm,
can request for
mhm,
COS,
mhm.
which can be issued to workers now on what it doing
Anymore.
more.
So
Yeah.
on a worst scenario, if home
Mhm.
office refuse to grant this COS, what happens to workers? The workers, that means they need to go back to their home country after working for the company for the 5 years now. Is
So
that going to
usually,
be the case?
yeah, so if they are not willing to issue them with new COS, then that means
Mhm.
that ABA employee, they might have to look for a new company and
Mm,
see if a company is willing to take them on at
mm.
this point in time, then they can go ahead and look for a new company rather than going back. But the usual scenario will be go back home and then if there is another opportunity, apply to come back to the UK. Yeah.
Wow, this is really something. Anyway, thank you so much
Yeah.
for that part. Now we're going to our main topic that we have for today. Producer, if you can put it on for me. So what we have today is can I rely on my child who has lived in the UK for 7 years to make an application? So lawyer Baba Bechichimu Bakakra may bisan say yɛwɔ situation scenarios bebree a parents ne bi baeɛ a anaasɛ ebi mu ba kurom ha maybe ɔba with a visit but one way or the other got pregnant and then gave birth and giving birth in this country no akwadaa no deɛ ɔnyɛ hwee ɔno deɛ ɔte ne baabi na wakɔfa no aba kurom ha nti wabɛwo no wɔ ha nti na akwadaa no bɛnya birth certificate ɛwɔ kurom a ɛkyerɛ sɛ yɛwo no wɔ ha na wawo no no nso no ebia wo no wonni nkrataa you don't have any actual status to live but then wotumi awerɛwerɛ mu atena mu as a lot of people do ɔmo atenetene mu atetɛ saa until maybe the akwadaa no sɛ sɛ wanya 7 years wanya 7 years no we have that law nso sɛ ɛyɛ ana 7 years nkwalaa no ɔmo yɛ ticket bi ma yɛ a yɛbɛtumi gyina ticket no so de ayɛ biribi but as to deɛ important na yɛbɛtumi de ayɛ yɛbɛtumi agyina so de ayɛ application anaasɛ yɛntumi ngyina so anaasɛ mpo no akwadaa no a mowoo no no ɔpapa ana ɔmaame no mo mmienu nyinaa mogyina scale zero but then akwadaa no anya 7 years na yɛbɛhwɛ kurom ha mmara no opportunity bɛn na ɛwɔ hɔ a mobɛtumi gyina akwadaa no so sɛ ɛbɛyɛ yie sɛ ɛnyɛ yie hence the topic can I rely on my child who has lived in the UK for 7 years to make an application live in the UK no menka nea yɛawo no wɔ ha nko a ebi nso ana wode akwadaa bi baa yɛ a waba abɛtena kurom ha 7 years ɛmbi a yɛde ɛno nso bɛfa hɔ but then ɛnɔ no lawyer Eunice bɛba abɛkyerɛkyerɛ mu na yɛhu where to pick the questions from nti lawyer Eunice my biggest question is I've got subsequent questions under this particular topic but then my biggest one is can I rely on my child who has lived in the UK for 7 years to make an application that's the question wadaroma wobɛtumi akyerɛkyerɛ mu na questions ɛwɔ hɔ no na mede to dwa nso de ama yɛ na woba no nso na mesa ama nkaeɛ bɔ sɛ we are still in October. We are creating breast cancer awareness for people who have no idea that breast cancer can, you know, it's there, and you can, as a man can also get breast cancer. I told someone this morning, and he was laughing that how Eden or Bema having breast cancer. I said, well, you don't know. It- so far as you have breast, it's possible you can have breast cancer. But then we are creating the awareness. Spread the word. Let people know that there are things like this that come up, and there are ways for the women to examine their breast to find out if you've at least find something. Bibi kitwe bi cry oh no for man. I say unusual feeling, unusual and you can say object, and I say BB in your breast. Don't wait, seek medical help. The earlier, the better. The earlier intervention, the better it is for you. So, Laura Eunice, my question again, Mpacho, me to me, I rely on me ba with these 7 years to make an application, Anna.
That's a very beautiful question. No, I think say this question, as you have explained, may come in two parts, and say yeah, share question to now involve akola. Nti akola ɛwɔ mmara no mu ɛkyerɛ sɛ nipa no edi under 18, nti from 0 to 17 years no, saa nipa no ɛna ɛyɛ akwadaa wɔ yɛ immigration mmara no mu. Nti sɛ yɛbisa yɛn ho sɛ saa akwadaa no watena UK kurom ha for at least 7 years deɛ a mɛtumi ayɛ application based on saa akwadaa no to show sɛ me nso mepɛ asetena ɛwɔ kurom ha anaa. And to say sɛnea wo explain yɛ ebia nneɛma esisi wɔ w'abrabɔ mu ɛna wode awo akwadaa no ɛwɔ kurom ha, afei de akwadaa no di 7, wopɛ sɛ wohwɛ sɛnea wobɛtumi enya asetena no based on saa akwadaa no. And of course, sɛ wohwɛ yɛ immigration rules na titiri when it comes to private life application, saa akwadaa no a wadi 7 no, sɛ yɛwɔ no wɔ kurom ha deɛ a, ɛnde akwadaa no ebetumi ayɛ application for saa settlement no straight away. But sɛ yɛ akwadaa a yɛanwo no wɔ kurom ha, ebia woba no, wode saa akwadaa no baeɛ, wode ne fifie baeɛ, ebia woba no wonya adwuma ɛwɔ kurom ha, anaasɛ na woyɛ students, ɛna wode wo ba aba, ɛna afei de akwadaa no sisi a watena kurom ha 7 years. Ebia time na akwadaa no ɛba no na wadi 5, but sisi a no saa akwadaa no yɛnka ne sɛ wabɛdi 12 years ɛwɔ kurom ha. I mean ne age sisi a ɛyɛ 12, nti wabɛ spend 12 years at least ɛwɔ kurom ha. Sɛ saa na ɛteɛ deɛ a, then of course you can say sɛ akwadaa wei a mede ne baeɛ no na osua sisi a we are spending 7 years of my life ɛwɔ kurom ha, nti wehu kurom ha as ne kurom, ɛnyɛ adeɛ a obetumi efiri kurom ha akɔbɔ baabiara. Nti based on appendix private life of the immigration rules no, saa akwadaa no nso ebetumi egyina ɔno ankasa ne ho ayɛ application for 2.5 years ɛde home office rules na aka sɛ saa akwadaa no wadi 7 years ɛwɔ kurom ha deɛ a, ɛndeɛ sɛ mokyerɛ sɛ akwadaa no ɛbɛyɛ unreasonable sɛ obɛfiri kurom ha akɔ back to kurom na a wofiri no, because of ebia ties na wabuilde, anaasɛ the fact that saa akwadaa no abɛhu kurom ha te sɛ ne kurom no, ne kasa no sisi a ɔmpɛ sɛ ɔbɛka twi wiem, sisi a aborɔfo naa ɔne n'adamfofoɔ no aborɔfo naa na ɔmo ka, nti ɛnyɛ adeɛ a ɛbɛyɛ te sɛ ɔbɛhu ne kurom as ne Ghana as ne kurom biom, because ɛhanom ara na watena a wabɛhu as ne kurom. Nti when it comes to such applications, I always say ɛnyɛ adeɛ a wobɛtumi atena fie aka sɛ oh wo nko ara woyɛ, because it is not just as easy to fill it in the forms. The evidence that goes with it is also very critical. Sɛ wo awofoɔ no a wote kurom ha, sɛ woka sɛ wo ba no ebia sisi a watena ekrom ha for that 7-year period. So we share your immigration brand name. Obia Oye qualifying child includes a child who has also lived in the UK for a continuous period of 7 years. Into apart from akola Oye British, and now say akola okita indefinite leave to remain. And now say akola crampo Oye EU national okita pre-settled status and now say settled status no. Akola nso a watena ekrom ha for at least a continuous period of 7 years. Saa akola no nso akola a yehu no as a qualifying child. Nti sɛ if for any reason woba no wode saa akwalaa no nso baeɛ a, sɛ akwalaa no nso atena kurom ha for that continuous period of 7 years deɛ a, ɛndeɛ ɛyɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ sɛ akwalaa no nso abɛhu UK kurom ha as ɔno ankasa ne kurom, because ne kurom no a ɔfiri baeɛ no ɔnsan nkɔ bio. Onim obiara wɔ hɔnom. Ɛnyɛ ade a yɛka sɛ ɔwɔ adamfofo bi nti ɔfrɛ no adamfo nti saa akwalaa no sisi a sɛ wo sɛ ɔnkɔ no kurom a ɔbɛte kasa no a ɛno nso yɛ asɛm, because ɔmpɛ sɛ ɔbɛka ne kurom kasa kora mpo. Nti you have to be able to show say akwalaa no abɛhu kurom ha as ne kurom. Ɛna wo a wofɔ no nso ɛyɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ nneɛma bi. Nti yɛbɛhwɛ requirements na ɔmo ebisa ɛwɔ mbra no ase. Nti sɛ yɛhwɛ yɛ appendix F form of the immigration rules na sɛ wo a wofɔ no ɛpɛ sɛ woyɛ application based on saa akwalaa no a, first of all yɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ sɛ wowɔ ba a ɔte UK kurom ha a ɔno nso watena kurom ha for at least a continuous period of 7 years. Ɛyɛ sɛ wotumi kyerɛ sɛ saa akwalaa wei no one no ɛwɔ saa parental responsibility and that's a parental responsibility for saa akwalaa no. Nti either sɛ also responsibility for akwalaa no anaasɛ wokyerɛ sɛ wo ne akwalaa no mote, anaasɛ wokyerɛ sɛ wo ne akwalaa no kora mpo ɛnte deɛ a wo as papa no anaasɛ maame no wowɔ direct access anaasɛ direct contact with akwalaa no. And then when it comes to the fact say say wohwɛ akwalaa no didiem ne bibia no wobɛtumi akyerɛ saa nneɛma no nso. Nti of course sɛ awofoɔ no mmienu ɛna ɛte bom ɛna wɔhwɛ akwalaa no nso so a ɛyɛ sɛ motumi kyerɛ sɛ yɛn awofoɔ mmienu yi ɛna yɛhwɛ akwalaa no. Nti ebia ɛnyɛ te sɛ sole responsibility anaasɛ ɛnyɛ te sɛ based on obi a ɔnte fie hɔnom or direct access, but mummienu normally live with the child. Nti akwalaa no onim mummienu a mummienu you're responsible for him or her. Nti based on the fact sɛ metumi akyerɛ sɛ akwalaa no ɛne mo ɛna ɛte a mo hwɛ akwalaa no na ɛsɛ motumi kyerɛ sɛ mo play an active role in akwalaa life. Nti active role, this is something that I've mentioned previously in other topics. Say a badness say you are showing say you are playing an active role in akwalaa life dear. You must be able to show say ampa akwalaa no ebia mede no kɔ school anaasɛ mede no kɔ medical appointments anaa krampo say ɛho hia sɛ mede no kɔ extracurricular activities a ɛno nso saa no nso mede akwalaa no kɔ. And you can easily get a letter from either the school, another GP, another club na akwalaa no kɔ no for extracurricular activities no, to be able to say ampa ɔmo nim sɛ wo maame no anaasɛ papa no mo de akwalaa no ba anaasɛ mo bɛfa akwalaa no free school anaasɛ wo de akwalaa no kɔ extracurricular activities a mo san nso ɛbɛfa akwalaa no. Sɛ ɛba sikatua a ɔmo nim sɛ mo na motua, sɛ ɛba hospital checkups ɔmo nim sɛ wode akwalaa no ɛba medical checkups anaasɛ treatment anaa inoculations a akwalaa no ɛsɛ ɔgye. They know say mo awofo no ɛna moyɛ saa adeɛ no. Nti ɔmo betumi ama wɔ letter to show that active role a mo play in Akonale life. It's important that it's from official sources because of the fact say with official sources someone new say omo any bias, they are not going to be one-sided or omo ntwantro bia senior situation it's in a sana omo betro no. Nti they like to have evidence from official sources to make sure say their work no no correct. And it's also very important to know, say, there are also other requirements, such as immigration requirements, the maintenance requirements, accommodation, and even English language requirements. But no any mandatory to say sa relationship requirements I would say only akola no woyɛ awofoɔ ɔno nso yɛ wo ba anaasɛ wowɔ mba a ɔmatena kurom ha 7 years. Nti based on the fact say wokyerɛ saa relationship requirements no almost say sɛ wontumi meet immigration status requirement because ebi a wasetena no ewu anaasɛ wontumi meet financial anaasɛ maintenance requirement because ebi a mo adwuma no a moyɛ no ɛnyɛ ade a mobɛtumi meet income support rate na ɛwɔ kurom ha anaa koraa mpo sɛ beebi a mote no accommodation no ɛnhyɛ da ɛnyɛ te sɛ deɛ ɔmo pɛ no anaasɛ English language requirement ebi a wonyɛ English test bia nti wontumi meet ɛno no. Say if either of those requirements they said English and now maintenance and now immigration requirements going to me meet here almost say then they have to look at what they call exceptions to the rules EX1A into under EX1A no say wa we akola no say wotumi kyerɛ sɛ ɛbɛyɛ unreasonable sɛ wobɛtumi efiri ɛkurom ha asan akɔ ɛkuro no a wo maame anaasɛ wo papa no efiri. Sɛ yɛhwɛ case laws ne other should I say precedents that has been set before, usually when it comes to akola with this 7 no, studies show that in those cases, that child has been assimilated to culture ne enyama a ɛwɔ kurom ha. Nti to them no, ɔmo abɛhu kurom ha ɛte sɛ ɔmo kurom. Nti there's that should I say familiarity in terms of the way they do things now into their culture has changed in terms of the way omo kasa, the way omo ye omo nyema, all of that has changed because of the fact that omatna UK Chrome for that 7 year period. And then when it comes to the fact that usually the ties that the child will have, baby almost school wɔ Ghana no more than for since ɔmo baeɛ no because ɔmo ni nkitaho with saa nkorɔfo no they don't have any ties in terms of social ties with those people anymore. Nti sɛ ɛba ne social ties na ɛyɛ nkɔlaa na ɔmo ne ɔmo kɔ school anaasɛ nkɔlaa na ɔmo wɔ ɔmo neighborhood no ɔmo na ɔmo nim. Nti they form those close knit ties with saa nkɔlaa na ɔmo ho wɔ school anaasɛ nkɔlaa na ɔmo ne ɔmo wɔ asɔre anaasɛ nkɔlaa na ɔmo wɔ ɔmo neighborhood anaasɛ community because ebi ɔmo kɔ extracurricular activities like music anaa dance classes anaa acting classes. Nti they formed relationships outside of the home. And it's not just awofoɔ no na ɔmo nim. They have also formed relationships outside the home, which is also critical to the fact that they've really assimilated themselves to the culture and lifestyle in the UK. And don't say, to me and san call back to Chrome now, or say no. So it's very, very important that at least yɛbɛtumi akyerɛ sɛ akwadaa wei yes watena hanom 7 years to say yɛayɛ ka no but also they have also been able to form cultural and social ties within their community at large so that it's not just the fact that Omuni mama for omoko school amuba fee, that's it. But they formed that those ties outside of the home, which makes it very critical for them to also remain in the UK. And sometimes you have children who are very, very, should I say, outgoing into they will be doing other things outside of school as well. And there are those that are very high achievers into ABIA, Akolano, ABIA, when who say adusua no ɛyɛ ne dɛ nti every time no ɔmo ma no awards anaasɛ ɔmo ma no certificates anaasɛ it's a thing where they are very good with music until they have been able to get to a certain level in terms of maybe piano and also keyboard and also guitar into they are very very good at what they do, or they attend singing and acting classes or whatever it is, no, you can show that a colano so is also good in certain areas that not necessarily other children will be good at. Nti it's good to show those things as well. Sɛnea wɔbɛhu sɛ okay, ebia akwadaa no biribi wɔ ne mu a ɔbɛyɛ very very good for our society and I say good in terms of letting that child remain here in the UK. Until you have to be able to show evidence of all of this as well. Nti sɛ EX1 na meka ho asɛm yi, sɛ yɛtumi kyerɛ sɛ it will be unreasonable sɛ akwadaa no ɛbɛfiri ekurom ha di a, then you don't have to meet the immigration requirements or the maintenance requirements or the English language requirements. Te sɛ sɛnea ɔmo expect it, as long as you have been able to meet the mandatory requirements, which shows that you have a parental relationship with Akolano, and the fact that you have been able to show that EX1A applies in your situation, no, then of course, in most cases, because of the fact, say, the Home Office is supposed to look at Section 55 of the Borders and Citizenship and Immigration Act, no, they would look at every interest and answer the best interest of every child to make sure, say, akolana yeah, say what's na UK krum ha for that period of 7 years, no. Sa akola no so and say yetumi what is in their best interest. So almost to me, share and I say almost to me, consider akolani best interest as paramount. Into say almost share evidence now with the abandon who say, oh, okay, akola way dear. I think say ne interest, the educational interest, ne social interest, ne bibia ebo krom ha. Into it will be very harsh for them to say omonfa asetena no emma akola no, because they have to consider the child's best interest in the round. Senya enkoye to say akola no ebia because watena krom has 7 years keke no yeah wamfa bibia nkyerɛ nti yɛn so yɛnhwɛ bibia. In such cases, if you have a good caseworker who thinks that more evidence should be provided, or mobile requested to see if there's any more evidence in terms of their akolano ewo krom ha, and that should help in terms of them considering akolano best interest as well. And then when it comes to family life, we have that right to family and private life in the UK. And so they will also consider the right to family life and the fact say the ma kolana chese na wo for no say munya because omona omo hwe akola no obi ani ho obetumi ahwe akola no chise awofo na. Into they will also consider that right to family life for both Akolano and Awofono in terms of their application. And they always have Gen 3.2 to look at in terms of whether it will be unduly harsh, say, or maybe to a refuse the application, no, into say, or say, based on evidence now what they are bano, it will be very, very harsh for them to refuse application, dear. And na ɔmo de asetena no ama akwadaa no ne awofo no, because this is an application that can be done at the same time. Even though akwadaa no gyina ɔno ankasa ne ho no, saa application no sɛ woyɛ wo deɛ a, wobɛtumi ayɛ akwadaa no deɛ no aka ho to show say ampa akwadaa no de ne application atom sɛ ɔreyɛ ne application for leave to remain ɛwɔ kurom ha. Wo nso a woyɛ awofoɔ no nso, woyɛ application no based on saa akwadaa no to show sɛ saa akwadaa no nso atena UK kurom ha for a continuous period of 7 years. Nti as awofoɔ no, you are making the application to show say wo ne akwadaa no wɔ saa parental relationship. Wogye di sɛ akwadaa no nso ɛbɛyɛ critical sɛ ɔbɛtena kurom ha because ɛbɛyɛ unreasonable sɛ ɔbɛfiri kurom ha. And you are also showing say based on the fact say wowɔ saa right to family life with akwadaa no nso, nti ɔmo nhwɛ saa nneɛma no a wode aba na ɔmo ntumi make a decision in your favor. Also, it is important to note say when it comes to akwadaa no a yɛawo no wɔ kurom ha deɛ, that child who was born in the UK no can make an application for settlement and I say indefinite leave to remain straight away, whereas akwadaa ofiri amanane a wabɛtena kurom ha for that 7 year period no, saa akwadaa no, they are not entitled to that indefinite leave to remain. They would have to apply for leave to remain just as awofoɔ no nso. Nti based on immigration in Brano, a period of leave to remain is either 30 months or 60 months if the child is over the age of 18. So usually ɔmo bɛma wo 2.5 na ɔmo ama akwadaa no nso 2.5. And that is how it is in terms of yeah, immigration rules.
Mame ntwa wano kakra wɔ ha nsa na watoa so na
Yeah.
pensio kakra bi gu umre mu mama wakasa akyɛ dodo yo na kasa no mu nyinaa sisi ano ayɛ sɛ yɛku yɛka ne sɛn anomaa baako anaasɛ yɛde anomaa baako eku yɛde ɛboɔ baako eku anomaa mmienu nti no it's like yɛka that of the akwalano, which is the child in question, and then the parent as well. Because see a bizarre question, can I rely on my child? Definitely is it's obvious the parent is asking, can I rely on my child? Na memfanye such an application. Akwala we di 7 years ewo krom ha. Now, what church you mo be hu say not necessarily akwala ya wo no krom ha. Na mmom akwala mpo a yɛne no aba na ɔno nso aba bɛdi 7 years wɔ ha no ɛne nyinaa yɛ possible but process na ɔsɛ wodi so na wontumi mfa nyɛ such application if I understood you very well na saa na ɛteɛ na questions wokasa no mu nyinaa ɔkyerɛ sɛ woakyerɛkyerɛ mu ama every possibilities a ɛwɔ hɔ a wobɛtumi ayɛ na wode ayɛ on both of the akwala no ɛne wo parent na anaasɛ wo maame na anaasɛ papa no. Nana questions kakra bi poppy up na yɛntumi revisit ɔhɔ no kakra. Sisi no memfa ne sɛ mɛka no mmienu. Memfa ne sɛ akwalaa na makɔfa no de aba no. First of all no, sɛ akwalaa no wɔ hɔ na me ne ne ba me parent no na deɛ na megyina so nti a metumi ma akwalaa no a ɔbaeɛ a ɔbɛdii 7 years. Mpɛ sɛ mehu 1 or 2 scenarios a it's possible sɛ mbia me nni hwee. Enti mmom akwalaa metumi ne me ba de aba kurom ha. Na me ba na me ne baeɛ no ɔwɔ under 18 na adom watumi aba abɛnya continuous 7 years ɛwɔ ha. Nti sia no mepɛ sɛ megyina me ba ne so na me nso memfa ngyina baabi. Na mmom ansa na saa akwalaa no nso a ɔbaeɛ no obetumi egyina ayɛ akwalaa no benya biribi na me so megyina so no na ɔsɛ akwalaa no nso yɛ den ɔyɛ application na yɛma no leave to remain. Enti abraya ma saa akwalaa no leave to remain no ɛna me parent no metumi egyina so na me so magye bi anaa ɛno ne me first question no but yɛkɔ ekyire a scenario na ebetumi ɛbɛba a me a menni hwee wɔ kurom a na mmom me ba wɔ fie nanso watumi aba kurom ha na waba bɛnya 7 years na ebetumi anya 1 or 2 scenarios bi wɔ hɔ a ɛyɛ saa sin na ebetumi happen in that way a na mpakyɛw.
Okay. And that's it for question. I think
Mhm.
so. Yeah, the kind of not make us say obia for instance, or the student visa ebaye, and
Ah,
also
okay,
obia or the skilled worker visa ebaye, or by
okay.
with independence. After
Mm,
the assistant koye bibi in some near sitna, or it
okay.
could be that you came on visits, and I would
Mm,
they will ban buy. And so in that case, mumienu nyinaa munni asetena, and
asetena.
you
Okay.
are now relying on the fact say akwadaa no was spending 7 years of ne life ɛwɔ UK kurom ha. Into
Okay.
it could be any routes
Yes.
whatsoever.
Mm,
Most times it is because you were able to bring the child legally, and
mhm.
now either say mwabaye overstayers and I say because of inyama ACC and into unfortunately your leave was curtailed into
Mhm.
went to me enya as it's now before with 60 days no so yeah.
That's right.
So
Okay.
it could be
Mhm.
situations
This
like that.
That's
Yes.
good. So in that case, na kyerɛ sɛ wobɛdi kan yɛ akwalaa no akwalaa no bɛnya 7 years na wobɛdi kan yɛ akwalaa no deɛ no a yɛbɛma no leave to remain no ansa na wo parent no woakɔ rely on akwalaa no anaa.
And see, one of the critical things that I like about a Chrome Han is
Mhm.
with applications, they always ask about dependence. And
Okay.
so they don't expect you to make the application and wait for a decision and sign a wire back and
Ah,
forth there. You can
right.
do it together. And
Yes.
see, even though ABI application form no for Akolano is different to your application form, no, you can
Mm,
make an application for the child and then submit yours at the same time as Akolane dear, no, because they'll ask you for reference number. Has that child that you are making an application for, has he got a reference number? And you can just put in there, oh, my submit it, the reference number and the
mm,
mesume submit media. And then you just put the relevant information in there and then you submit it. And say
mm.
for the home office, as long as you've put in the relevant information such as a
Yeah.
Holland unique application number, no, they
They
will
will
check
just
on
send
their
it.
system to see that
Oh,
what you are saying is true. And so you don't have to make the application and wait for a Kolane Diana and Sana also
mm,
why you there. For most families, it's better that you even explain why you are not making the application together. Besides adding to when your application number.
it's
And
true.
if you have the opportunity to submit it at the same time, you just submit it one after the other. Into yes, I submitted the child's own ABI
Mm,
and apano. After the Mia reference number with the
nti
best media
deɛ-
also. Now, Miss
Okay.
submitting media no area. Yeah.
Ah, yes, ɛnkyɛ sɛ sɛ one will lead the
Yes.
other. Ɛno ano
Yes.
na wode link no
Yeah.
nyinaa aka ho. Ɛyɛ good.
Alcohol.
Nti in this case no, both parents etumi gyina akwadaa no so, right? Same bia na both
Yes.
parents like if we take one case say bia family ba ɔyɛ student na ɔmo baeɛ ɛna afei bia ɔmo student wei no ewieɛ no ɔmo nyaa bia nea yɛde keka ho no but ne nyinaa ewu ɛna sisi a ɔmo awo akwalaa ma akwalaa no anya 7 years no na nti no ɛno saa no both parents no betumi ayɛ such application anaa.
Yes, into in most scenarios, either say awofo no mmienu na ɛbaeɛ anaasɛ awofo baako ɛna ɛde akwadaa no baeɛ. Sɛ awofo mmienu no ɛna ɛde akwadaa no baeɛ deɛ a, then yes, both parents will show say they normally live with this child. Ɔmo mmienu nyinaa ɔmo ni asetena, and they are the ones caring for the child. Into you show evidence by way of proof of address. It's very important to show say yes, yet the address so and akola no so the school letter na say the GP letter no so kyerɛ sɛ ɔne yɛn te the same address. Nti yɛn na yɛhwɛ akola no fiti time a ɔbaeɛ nyinaa no yɛn na yɛahwɛ no saa ɛbɛsi saa mberɛ. into as much as possible. You can show evidence of school letter, GP letters, or any other letters that the child may have. And now, one kasa we are for no so move to me actually proof of address as well to show say yes, ebi a tenancy agreement ni di yene akola no na yete.
Nti.
Yeah.
Joe, na wakyɛkyɛ mu yi deɛ na kyerɛ sɛ it's really possible na wotumi hyehyɛ wo nneɛma no yie di a ɛyɛ possible a wobɛtumi gyina akwadaa no so na wode ayɛ nti dodoɔ no a ɛtie yɛn no sɛ wo deɛ wo ho so a share the program, like the page na extend sɛ obi wɔ such situation mu a there is always a way out a wobɛtumi gyina so na wayɛ application na wɔn nso adom wanya wo nso wotena bia wɔ kurom a na sɛ nneɛma asesa paa na the rate at which a nneɛma ɛresesa no nso no sɛ wowɔ biribi yɛ na woanyɛ ne ntɛm a afei wobɛhu sɛ afe baako mmienu bɛba no na baabi ogyina na afei wontumi nkɔ w'anim a wo nso so a wontumi nkɔ w'akyi enti na this is the time we take this opportunity and as advantage na yɛnyɛ application na sɛ wo find yourself in this situation na wopɛ sɛ ɔyɛ application a mesrɛ wo ani die mu wobɛtumi akɔ ho BWF Solicitors anaa wobɛtumi afrɛ lawyer Eunice after the program no sɛ wowɔ such situation mu na wopɛ sɛ wo nso woyɛ saa application no bi na wonya saa leave to remain sɛ ade no woyɛ a initially ɛbɛma wo leave to remain nti akyire nti lawyer Eunice wei sei no mo na yɛma mo tot anaasɛ 2.5 na until you get to your can I say 10 years na mpacho.
Yes, and see in scenarios like this, usually almost 2.5 up on the 10-year route because way to me means the requirements need 9. So almost 2.5 on the 10-year route. For Akolano dear, say Akolano under the age of 18 now. Almost no 2.5, especially for Akola young one who come higher than a buyer. And see on no sana yabema no 2.5 on the 10-year route. But say or drew a certain age, bia afe yamani 2.5 afe the akolano the second 2.5 na ya the man no with the 18 into no sano or person switch it to the young adult route never private life no swa and the bet switch it to the young adult route no so in that case, that means that the child is showing say, I will do 18 and or you're under the age of 25. What's not no more than half in their life. And no no so who was the car over to me I 5 years straight away. And see on bisa say who was the car over to me date to IHS for 5 years and so who was asking na mama of 5 years straight away. But that's only applicable to nkwalaa no more 18 between 18 to 24 years old. Yeah.
Nka mebisa sɛ na nkwalaa no nso tia IHS ana.
Yes, so omutia.
Na sɛ akwalaa yɛ a wo ne wɔ ha nso na ɔkɔyɛ such way a ɔno nso so bɛtia ana.
Yes, but in terms of indefinite leave to remain, there's no IHS payment.
Okay.
So your application for indefinite leave to remain there, and not
No.
necessarily your application fee because there's no IHS payment in terms of indefinite leave to remain application. Yeah.
So it's just the 2.5. So if you are paying 2.5, if you've been given 2.5, that means for 4 times, if you continue to extend it now, you pay IHS for 4 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's
That's
just that
good.
in Colano have a reduced rate into in Pennyphone Diana 1,035 a year. And in Colano Diano £776 a year. It's at a discounted rate, I would say. Yeah.
Hey, obviously, no, for the past 10 years, on call GP, down call hospital, on call, just say, on your BBI, any health, bia in the link, or also sign or record. I mean, you're checking the system record, baby, database. They will never find his name. GP record anything. So, no, sign so also chair IHS, because on call GP.
Hey. ɛno deɛ Canberra no ho ɔntumi nyɛ ho hwee sɛ wo na wopɛ sɛ wokɔ GP hɔnom bia that's up to
I
you but
see.
government no deɛ ɔmo ahyehyɛ mbra no sɛ ɛyɛ sɛ wotua
Uh-huh.
immigration help searcher ɛyɛ primary legislation ɛnti sɛ ɛyɛ immigration rules crampo ɛyɛ
Okay.
ɛde a ɛyɛ mbra parliament ahyehyɛ nti wontumi
Right.
ndwane yeah.
Okay. Yanko ye ni mwe. And Eunice, mama on se wakasa bebre na ene ye jimre mre kakra sana ye sha sente ne mre no kwa na eko. Sisi we have approximately 20 minutes ye betumi e dia wrap up na yako. But it may be telephone lines no na maybe a telephone lines now. Just a minute. Maybe a telephone lines now. One I'm on a live podcast. Maybe a telephone lines now. Now then I allow the viewers and the listeners to call in, and then they can also ask their questions. I mean you can ask your question based on the topic that we've just treated, but as the same time you can ask a different question if you want to, and the lawyer is here to answer you whichever way you want it. And you know, so maybe a telephone lines now. No, a couple of questions though, but let me open the telephone lines for the viewers and listeners to call in with their questions as well. Na yen to me and fair share wa hakakra. So the numbers to call is 075 You can call this number, ask your question. But then I have few questions online. Let us address these ones first, and then I pick up the telephone lines. Frank Agori is asking, good morning, lawyer. Please, if the new law comes up, is it going to affect a person married to British citizen under 5 years route? That's the first question we have on board. Lawyer Eunice.
Okay, into Frank, at the moment we are not sure which groups of people it is likely to affect, but as it is for those under the EU law, because there is a different law and a different agreement for those under the EU settlement scheme, they are less likely to be affected. So those under the EU settlement scheme are the ones that we know will not be affected by this incoming law or this law which has been proposed. So at the moment, we are not sure which categories it will cover, but we know that from their proposals and from announcements that have been made, that they would want all those who are on any settlement kind of route to go forward in terms of not having their settlement any longer under 10 years, but for at least 10 years before they are able to gain settlement. Nkɔfoɔ mo nte borɔfo no. Patro, deɛ meka yɛ ne sɛ obi ɛwɔ any other routes apart from EU routes and as a EU settlement scheme na ase a ɔmo no government ne share that ɛnka sɛ a category of people we ɛna ɛbɛ affected. As long as you are under immigration rules no ɔmo betumi put it in nkurɔfoɔ any route, so whether it's the family route, whether it's the worker route, whether it's UK ancestry route, any route that leads to settlements, no, they can put them under this category of the new law that will be enforced. But currently, as it stands, we know that they haven't made mention of which categories of people it is likely to affect. But we know in terms of the withdrawal agreement, they say it will not affect EU family members and EU nationals. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I've got a voicemail here as well. Mebo na obi nso gyina line so na yewiane afa. Frank, so your question is being answered. Na yembo voicemail we nso ne ahwe.
Manye, good morning. Eunice, good morning. Edamasine Papa Mubomo man. But your quick one. But your Nigeria ni mind your own. And what very British to say. And what she ababa will be lady be now no or the serious na by
Hold on.
Pebisa. na na ni be wu me no ma aka mo dra so and they say mo date na mo person ko mo ware na number to mo se mo sa say ware na mo be ware no esan se guy na latani no na mo so mo customary marriage no na guy no see Ghana you know ombetimi aware e customary marriage abrakọ mo nko Ghana guy no serious na enwuye na Ghana say British to ombetimi aye customary marriage e dey aba na say guy na enye Ghana ni to mo ntimi nye this some way kuma de ni bia na wada man kuma koye spouse visa ko lady ni de ni mu no ko mutimi ware na mo de beto so no de mo ne go so betimi pato bo sala ya man wada ma.
Okay. Yo, Eunice, customary marriage between
Okay.
two countries.
Yes, into to media say obano Ghana nidia. Of course, obano be to me if you are we Ghana na or the krata no aba UK Chrome has say omo ya worry for. It doesn't matter say bema no alateni. Um I mean, customary marriage is based usually on Obana side because of the
Exactly.
fact that Amamre nature say Bema no ebe hu Obana busiafo na omo hyehyɛ ɛda omo hyɛ enyama a omo de bɛba ne saa yama no nti is mainly based on Obano. Nti sɛ Obano Ghana ni dia ɛnde obetumi ayɛ nkrata no ɛwɔ fie na omo de abrɛ no sɛ omo etumi atena ase ayɛ awareɛ no ɛna nkrata no nie nti ɛno na ɛbɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔbaa no anaasɛ bɛrima no aware ɔbaa no and based on the marriage certificate customary marriage certificate na ɔmo de bɛba no na ɔmo egyina no so ɛde ayɛ nkrata no spousal application no ɛwɔ kurom ha as long as na asetena no nwuiɛ no and she's able to meet all the requirements now, then I think her application should be successful.
Okay, so that's it. I've got a couple. Let me answer this one as well. Hey, read this one. May will be okay. Let's go for Liz Rosehill. Or say, please do retention of right application documents sent on the gov.uk website or TLS contact portal. I know biometric and photos are taken on the day of appointment / upload on their website. Into bisa hint na onfa sa document no enfa.
Okay, and since the application under the EU settlement scheme, I think that is the application she's making. Most of the time, retention of rights application has to do with EU application. It's to say, almost say, application under the retention of rights. It means say, ebi on EU ni AGI and all application. No. Most of the time the website allows you to upload documents into so your application and book your appointments it will still allow you to go back to the application and upload further documents into almost categorizing documents na whether you are uploading documents to do with relationship, documents to do with identity, documents to do with retained rights. Into once you go back to the application, you can upload your documents onto the government's portal and then they would look at it from there rather than the TLS contact website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Me wo call bi wa homa ne so. Mpacho number end 3417. Yetio mpacho o kasa free.
Good morning, only lawyer Eunice, make us a free Bristol.
Okay.
So, my question no say you buy so the me 7 months.
Okay. Okay.
Me private life.
Right.
So many assets na me 10 years. Me say wako 2. Wako 8 after 2. Meso me na meso so akran mu bibia. Na be say busa lawyer say me ejina ne family so akọ 10 years and private life akọ 10 years no. Wako 8 after 2 no. Me ni asset na no. Because all the evidence I met media about in supporting of akola no ne maame no. But me ni argument in financial aspect but apart from financial aspect everything nti na busa lawyer say ebetimi anase obetimi ayi application bi e dey plead efficacy ama me dey nya setena na is it any special application bi ebe ya ebetimi ama me dey nya setena na
Yo, Papa, o that ye dear.
metaitie
Once I no cry say enye positive me boy.
metaitie
Okay, share program ne mami why. Yes, Eunice be you are no, but wasem we utete anka we de we be see nkwan fufu atom kwemu. Nti Eunice me
Yeah,
say your brother ni jesem anope na
yeah,
afa
yeah.
good weekend.
Yes, it's at least an year. I can 2 years no dia. Then as soon as or year no ne application for settlements no. Now or the akolano so I can say or your application for settlements for akolano so. In 2 years time, once she's qualified for settlements, now I hear and also I'm akolano. Now wait to me na akolano so. Why?
Patawate. Say possible why ba abotre kakra na wo.
okay madasapa thank you
Kɔ so asosɔ mo mu na ɛyɛ nea ɔyɛ nyinaa pɛpɛɛpɛ nti sɛ ɛduu hɔ naa no wommerɛ koraa na kyerɛ sɛ ayɛ kamakama de ama wo. Wae,
Mpacho, thank you very
yɛda
much.
ase. Na hyɛ program ne ma me. Wae.
Mpacho, yeah.
Yo. La Eunice, yɛda ase. Mewɔ question baako nso ɛwɔ ha. Na membisa ɔse, please, I came with a visit visa 2014 and expired. I overstayed and applied for EU residence card and I spent 5 years on it and got settled status. Today is 1 year on settled status. Can I apply for citizenship, please? Let's just say we're trying to 5 years now, say try 1 year go so. Na sisi
Yeah.
obisa I say today today dear today and when we be happy yeah dear near so say
Happy Friday.
happy and you know obetumi aya na say o so train patcho.
Oh, of course. And see, say if you had your settlement, whether through the parenthood, family roots, EU settlement scheme, yes, any route under which you were able to obtain settlement and I say indefinite leave to remain, no, say 12 months every trimmer, you are eligible to apply for naturalization under the British Nationality Act. And there are other requirements as well. And say, yes, over to me, I application. No.
Enti no ɛno saa no Lioness mewɔ question bi nso bi de abɛgya me anɔpɛ yi ɛyɛ private life kwan so a yɛn nyinaa yɛforo bi na ɔde krataa a ɔde kan de baeɛ no ɔyɛ nkurɔfoɔ no a ɔmo baeɛ no a yɛka kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ ɔmo nsa mfa ɔmo wei no nkɔ fie no bi nti
Okay.
no ɔbaeɛ 20 years mu ni ɛna ɔde adeɛ no kɔɔ fie but saa afe no a ɔregister GP nti no ɔwɔ GP saa card no bi ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɔregister that particular year na ɛna afei nso no ɔde nkurɔfoɔ ntumi ɛfra a ɛyɛ adwuma nkɔdu sesi a ɛnɛ a me ne wo kasa yi different nkurɔfoɔ ntoma mɛfa no sɛ ɔde wei yɛ mfie 9 na wagyae na wakɔfa obi foforɔ ntoma na ɔde afra yɛ adwuma na saa ɛbɛsi ɛnɛ a ɔkasa yi na nka nneɛma nketenkete bi a nka ɔwɔ a ne nyinaa wɔ ne din mu akyerɛ no atutu yi ne akwantumu nsɛm yi ebi yerayeraeɛ nti no ɔnhyɛ da nni nneɛma bebree bi saa ɛwɔ ɔno ara ne din mu apart from saa GP na obieeɛ no a ɛno wɔ ne din mu sɛ 20 years ago na ɔwɔ kurom a obieeɛ no nti ɔrebisa saa private law application obetumi ayɛ bi a
It's a very very good question, and I think that Dudwana so will fall under this category because of the fact that most people don't know nkurɔfoɔ nkrataa na wɔde yɛ adwuma. Ebi wɔ hɔ nso a they were brave enough to go with wɔn ankasa wɔn din nti wɔn wɔ biribi a ɛbɛkyerɛ sɛ ae
yeah
wɔn agye asetena bi
Let's I forget. Yeah, Bibia, those time your friend Banchi about that bio said the Banchi aba. Na
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
on say
And
Oba
I
wow
know.
utro and na maybe and no so the
Yeah,
ye duma kakra until say you can't say chile no fa bibi mbra ne ade oni no
yeah.
and guy into sa evidence no so into no obisa obetumi.
I mean, Banchi Abane there, the way I'm not more generating the crampono is share Shamasi system now. Into when it comes to those applications, no, most of the time it is based on Dianipakono de beba. Into say also na uye juma ewo obidimu crampona. Then I just said na wona uye juma was anipakono dim. Yes, you have pay slips, but apart from pay slips, no. So to make sure BB to say dream photo ID and
Hi.
answer BB that yes, because say what the pay slips never meant to me I can say work for be pay slips now there.
No correct.
But say, what chairman say, oh, we picture ni now you so Kwesi Ababio and
Yeah.
afraid Kwesi Ababio payslips and we share for the 10 years. Now, okay, me who say okay, no crap because now we a juma with the dean Kwesi Ababio. In say no dear, wait to me, I counter to say yes, this is relevant information to your application because now we use ID no to work. When it comes to nkurɔfoɔ evidence cry ebetumi akyerɛ sɛ na ɔmo yɛ adwuma for instance anaasɛ ɔmo ni bank accounts ebi mo hɔ a ɔmo ntumi mbie bank account kora mpo ɛnna ɛte sɛ sɛnea nipa koro no ebisa no because of the fact sɛ obi a GP no we would have to rely on the GP records and we hope say nipa no na ɔkɔ GP mu because wobɛhwɛ records no sɛ ampa na nipa korɔ no ɔkɔ GP anaasɛ wankɔ GP. And then sometimes it also helps that you are involved in asɔre ne saa yamayama no because at least if you are able to show say you were contributing to the church in one way or the other. Now sorry so etumi atro letter to say yes nipa way we've known him for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Aha na mama sorry star yenim no ebia oma tight into yeah when the titan class for the past 20 years yenim say sorry dear no or back every Sunday bia and I
Okay.
said this person has been involved in the community or yeah community ways anyway into able to me I'm a letter from the council to show say nipa way there you name the power because on no obwa with this for instance club within the community and I
Yeah.
say baby so it's very, very important that at least you get yourself involved in other things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, say if you na unim dia and they're very, very critical in terms of getting any form of evidence to
That's
show say
true.
one kasa. But say what evidence that you say when nipa no when you see sa nipa ni din ede ye adwuma dia and then we can also rely on that evidence even though it was illegal we can still rely on that evidence to say nah what's wrong yeah
It's just one document pen there enough. Say
unfortunately they want something for
every
every
year.
year yeah wabɛtena UK kurom ha so that
Hey.
they know say one come back in the middle of the 20 years.
No, no more now. Ninkrata, I don't know, call back, no back. Also, more say,
Ọmụ deɛ ọmụ hu ne
okay.
saa te sɛ sɛnea wo sɛ ɔde passport no kɔ no ɔmo bɛtumi
Uh-huh.
aka sɛ ɛndɛ sɛ ɔde edin foforɔ na ɛkɔɛ na wasan aba with edin foforɔ aha
Oh, hard you,
ɛha adwen papapapa
a hard dream.
ɔken sɛ obi so
In those
bisa
days,
question wɔ platform
Mikai, those days, so good at you kind of saying record keeping. Yo, producer for when it to name say last person na fe yen sorry call. Yeah, papa, you know, Bema Penny, Nana Itwa Hene, or say Please, it means that qualifying child is not just say you go school here or breaking in down my and sending antias any big jina hopping team at the ama the dona shena lawyer Eunice so afwa so at the ama near ya papa nana etua hene ebisa ne say near saying na ye ka qualifying child as yet saying no bisa say so please it means that qualifying child is one British citizen. 2. Child who is settled with indefinite leave to remain. 3. Child who is settled with indefinite leave to enter. 4. Child with pre-settled with EU nationality has EU passport. Child with settled status with EU nationality has EU passport. 6. Child born outside UK but has lived in the UK for 7 years continuously. Child born in the UK and has lived in the UK continuously for continuously for UK.
In the UK,
Right. And no na waka 7 categories of a qualifying child. No obisa. Na ne obisa nso say nti ne enye qualifying child no eno ni child with pre-settled status who is a Ghanaian national, child with settled status who is a Ghanaian national, child born to skilled worker with Ghanaian nationality, child born to student who is Ghanaian national, child born to asylum seeker or certification. Oh, in fact, me classroom panka memma 100%. We're breaking it down for simple, clear understanding and
yes.
clarification. Until our Eunice, senior young papa abu bossy, which is which?
I mean, Dika Enka, very well done to Nana Etiahene. It means that you are actually learning. I like that. I like it when a student is actually paying attention. Yes, as you have clearly stated, a qualifying child is a child who is a British national or who has settlement or indefinite leave to remain, a child who is an EU national with either pre-settled status or settled status, or a child who was born in the UK or born outside the UK but has lived in the UK for a continuous period of 7 years. Very well done for paying attention, and I think you get a tick, 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 tick on all the points that you raised.
Yo, you better say Eunice. Mreni swa nanso no. Obe ne den. Mrema ho kwan a kakra na obetimi aye na edu a no asori wo na so. Nti no, ye ba be sorry, but viewers, listeners, me de say muni aba be do this time of the program no. Unfortunately, ye nya ye mame lawyer Annie. Now on my end, the English aspect. That's the reason why I now may try to incorporate a bit of English in it, even though we can say, please speak English for us. But then Lawyer Eunice can also do the summary for us.
Yes.
Now on Bonnie Toffa. Like even what Lawyer Ituahini said, I would have even used that as a summary for the whole thing, so that if you can base on a chart like this, yes, you can have your application successful. Somebody is calling. I don't know if it's the last caller, but we want to hope
Okay, one more.
so they are too so crying, or they are too so anything. Oh, all right, my man, no crime. Yes, Patrick, oh, yeah, my last caller, you too. Hello.
Thank you very much. Really, my question, I had a quick one.
Okay.
Pre-settlement or EU national, 2.5 years. No?
Yes.
So, I mean, because I'm lawyers or qualify for indefinite.
The question again, Lawyer Eunice, what's here?
Also, I call what's not 2 years or you qualified for indefinite now.
Lawyer say, Obi or EU national pre-settlement or EU pre-settlement. What's na UK continues for 2.5 years now. Or with me indefinite. The banana and as I qualified child.
So akwadaa no ɔno parents no wɔ 2.5 into ɔno yɛ pre-settled. Pre-settled.
More than 2.5 years.
Okay, more than 2.5.
2.5.
Okay. And to make it clearer, no, or say parent or EU national, but or have for or pre-settled 2.5 years. And a wow akwala. No bisa say akwala no obetumi indefinite de amana na. Pacha sane o question no.
Perfect.
Okay, la Eunice, pacha.
So in terms of the EU settlement scheme, Nidia, so akwala no after I think it's 2022, you will apply for pre-settled status for akwala no, because let's remember the cutoff period, omuma grace period up to 30th June 2021. If by that time you still hadn't done the EU settlement scheme, no dear, any child born to the EU national after that point, you would need to apply for pre-settled status for that child. It is not automatic settled status after that time. Unfortunately, no, say akwala no yawo no dia and the obey pre-settled and I say 5 years residence and as a limited leave to remain no ama akwala no.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But just share me show record don't share.
Thank you.
All right, yo, Eunice, aha na edi adwumadi no ebebe wie na yenkotwa bibi foforo so. Mpacho, eden na odbeja ye ana obeye summary na maya na kaya sorry ko.
Okay, so just a very quick summary of topic note for ending. So our question was, can I rely on my child who has lived in the UK for 7 years to make an application? And we broke down the question to look at who a child is, first of all. A child is any person under the age of 18 years old based on our immigration rules. And when we look at the second part of the question, if the child has lived here for a period of 7 years, can I rely on that child? As a parent who may have come in with some form of immigration status, if for some reason or the other, I no longer have immigration status and my child also has no immigration status. Once I can show that my child has lived in the UK for a continuous qualifying period of 7 years, I can make an application on that basis. That is to say, once the child has lived here for 7 years, the child can make an application based on their private life to show that they have formed social and cultural ties here in the UK, and therefore it will be unreasonable for that child to return to the country of their origin. Once an application has been made for the child, the parent also can make an application to say that they are relying on this child because they have parental responsibility for the child. So it could be that both parents are making an application to rely on the child. It could be that they have sole responsibility for the child. On whichever basis, they have to show that they have parental responsibility for that child and that they play an active role in the child's life. Once they are able to show the relationship requirements, which is the mandatory requirement, there are another three requirements that they must also satisfy, which are the immigration status requirement, the maintenance requirement and accommodation, and the English language requirement. If they are unable to show that they satisfy these requirements, then they would have to show that they are able to meet AX1A of the immigration rules. This is an exception to the immigration rules. They must show that it will be unreasonable for the child in question or the child who has lived here for a 7 year continuous period to return back to their country of origin. And therefore, once they've been able to show by way of case law and evidence that it will be unreasonable for this child to return back to their country of origin, they can go ahead and then show that they meet the mandatory requirement, which is the relationship requirement, and they also satisfy EX1A of the immigration rules. Once the Home Office has obviously sight of these applications, they will consider the child's best interest as well under Section 55 of the British Citizenship and Immigration Act. They will have to consider the child's best interest as paramount. And so, looking at the child critically, they would look at the child's interest in its totality, their educational interest, their physical interest, emotional interest. They will look at all of that and also make sure that they make mention of this in their decision letter. And as we always have it, when it comes to our human rights, they are also supposed to consider both the parents and the child's family interest, which is their right to family life under Article 8 of the ECHR. They would consider all of this in the round and then make a decision on both the child's application and the parent or parents' application as well. Once a decision has been made, they can only grant the child 2.5 years, which is 30 months, and they can grant the parents 30 months, which is also 2.5 years on the 10-year route. This is just a short summary of what we discussed today. But as it is every time that we bring to you these topics, we always make mention that it is important to also seek proper legal advice. And so our details are on the screen. Please do give us a call. You can book an appointment, whether it's face to face or remote. We will do our very best to see you in terms of any appointments that you may have or any issues that you may have. And then hopefully next week by this time, we will see you again.
Definitely next week by this time we'll definitely see you again. It's here for Nashua 4. I think we've come to the end of today's program. Amy the said you join us throughout from 9:30 up to this hour and still with us. Thank you so much. Tomorrow the community and the law is coming up. Our brother Oreku Frempong will be the host. Now, Bomodiana, join us. We have a beautiful topic that you can't miss it. Make sure you have a date with us. 4 o'clock sharp to 6 o'clock for the period of the program. Intino Bomodiana joining us. Until then, Minishi Kembium, the American Mama Sunina, Madame Sumini Abatili Duma. Thank you so much for come. Self-love, yes. I try as much as possible for you. So, Auntie Helena, thank you so much. Dante, Mickey, Mikkels, great discussion. Kudos. Thank you, Dante. I really appreciate that. Frank Agori, thank you. Kobe Kevin, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And a whole lot of people, but unfortunately, we ran out of time earlier on to me. But until then, I believe next week, same time you join us, we'll have another beautiful topic, very beneficial topic, very educative topic. Until may see next week time. Until then, have a lovely weekend. I'll see you again. Adios.
Based in London, we are a dynamic award-winning firm specialising in a range of legal services. Welcome to BWF Solicitors, a trusted and experienced law firm specialising in immigration and nationality, appeals and judicial review, dispute resolution, family and matrimonial, and other family law disputes with international context. These include matters such as private child arrangement orders, contestant and uncontested divorce, non-molestation for domestic violence, and financial remedy. Our childcare and family team appreciate the issues facing you at such a difficult time. Our advice is delivered in a confidential and sensitive manner. Meet Bernard Owusu, our esteemed senior partner, with over 32 years of experience and known for his expertise and dedication to serving our clients and the community. BWF Solicitors stands for integrity, respect, excellence, teamwork, diversity, inclusion, and service to the community. We provide tailored assistance specific to your case. At BWF Solicitors, every day is filled with dedication, creativity, and a commitment to finding the best solutions for our clients. Our team at BWF Solicitors is ready to assist you with all your legal needs. You can find us at the 4th floor, Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road, Seven Sisters, London, N15 4NP. Our main office line is 0208 493 7340, or our emergency line is 07712 761 884.